What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's predictions time for England versus Australia. A massive contest that's taking place this weekend at Twickenham Rugby Stadium. It is going to be one hell of a game, one hell of a challenge for both teams. There's quite a few reasons why, but before we get to that, if you're new to this channel and haven't yet subscribed yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button and join the family as we grow to almost 10,000 subscribers. Big shout out and thank you to all my subscribers, new and old. Welcome to Walking Towards You, man. Let's get to the business of today. Now we have two very good teams that are just going through an extremely tough time. England have not been in the greatest of form. Obviously picking up a victory over South Africa, which I'll be quite happy about. Almost beating the All Blacks, and then picking up a victory last week against Japan. However, they were challenged in the first half where Japan was in the lead. Now, with this game, it was quite intense, especially the All Black one, where England had their opportunities, but unfortunately couldn't take it all the way for them. Against South Africa, they were lucky to get away with it, especially with a lovely little shoulder charge that wasn't allowed, but again, South Africa lost the game on their own due to line-out throws that weren't going the way of the South Africans. So England will be feeling a little confident getting 2 out of the 1 victory so far. Obviously this year has not been a great year. They ended second from the bottom in the Six Nations, which isn't a great memory. They lost to South Africa in the June Internationals 2-1, having won the last test. So they've been up and down. Obviously the start of the year was quite shocking, but they're slowly trying to find their rhythm again. One thing we must also remember is that England are currently facing so many injuries of such key players that are missing from the squad. Question would be, if these guys were in the squad, would there be a difference? And I'm sure there would be, because obviously you get your stronger boys back, your team's more motivated and confident. But I think with what they've done, they haven't done too badly at all, especially once again against New Zealand. Now Australia are going to be a different kettle of fish, because there's a similarity between these two teams. They have won and lost an X amount of games, which is very similar this year. But the thing is, Australia and England's coaches, Eddie Jones and Michael Cheika, have been questioned quite a few times of whether or not they should take their team to the Rugby World Cup. Now, for me personally, I would definitely take Eddie Jones. He has achieved some success with England, where they were at one stage quite dominant in World Rugby. And so for me, you've got to keep Eddie Jones because of the experience that he's had and what he's achieved in his career. As for Michael Cheika, he just doesn't seem to have a great name in World Rugby at the moment. Comes across as a whiner, miserable old bugger, and all those things. So his job's on the line, probably more than Eddie. Now Australia haven't really had a great one. They lost to Wales for the first time in many years. They lost to Ireland in the June Test Series. They didn't do too great in the Rugby Championship. However, they did pick up victories against South Africa in Australia. And they did win and lose to Argentina. Obviously that loss is a big one for them. Now on paper, both these teams have great squads. If we look at Australia, I mean, you've got the likes of Kurtley Beale, Will Genia, David Pocock, if he's fit enough to play, Michael Hooper, I mean, Bernard Foley. There's just a great number of blokes, and the leadership within the squad isn't too bad. Michael Hooper's achieved a lot of success for Australia. So for me, they've got a great team, but are they capable of going all the way and beating England? Now the last time Australia beat England was in 2015 in the Rugby World Cup. Since then, Eddie Jones has had their number and managed to defeat them. Now last year I thought Australia might have had the chance to do it, but unfortunately couldn't do it and didn't capitalise on opportunities. And that seems to be the thing with Australia. They're not capitalising on opportunities. They make silly errors, and the camaraderie within the squad just don't seem to be there, which is a massive problem within your squad. You need to come together. You need to work together. You need to be able to handle tough situations in order to win a game. Now, England, on the other hand, seem to have a good gel. Sometimes maybe arrogant, but still have a good gel. And I think they're just going through a stage of bad form, as well as a lot of injuries, which we must definitely take into account. So for me, they have definitely the capability of beating Australia. They've also got fantastic players. I mean, Hartley, Farrell, Murrow, some outstanding star players within that squad. Ashton, all those blokies. Now, there's also talk of a few more players missing out this weekend, which is a big loss for England going forward. But for me, the key to this is your two co-captains, Hartley and Owen Farrell. They need to be able to control the game. Owen hasn't had the greatest of November internationals where, to me, against Australians, he needs to stand up. He needs to lead from the front. He needs to show why he's a force to be reckoned with and why he is a contender in World Rugby. I rate this kid highly. I think he's a key aspect for England rugby, and he's got the strength and the power and the capability to go various ways within rugby. He's a great tactical kicker, but a great place kicker, great runner of the ball, great passer. He plays the game very well, and if he's on form, it will definitely boost England going forward within this game this weekend. And the same goes for Australia. Depending on who they pick, they'll probably go with Bernard Foley as fly half. It's key for him to make sure he's ready and confident for the game. He's able to take it to the next level. He's able to handle the pressure and take them on. It's not going to be an easy contest, and it's important for these two coaches to get an understanding of the two teams. Both similar positions. They've played together before, Michael and Eddie Jones, so they know each other. I mean, Eddie said in the media, yeah, old mate kind of thing. Obviously stirring the things. He said he's a bit of a street fighter, so he can get out of tough situations, and he reckons that Michael's thriving under pressure. I tend to disagree with that. I think they're not doing great at all under pressure. Otherwise, they would have been peaking. Something needs to happen, and change needs to happen within Australian rugby. Because of the Southern Hemisphere, Boyke, it's sad watching Australia go through such a tough stage. I said before, I think they're going to improve. They just haven't. It's just not been strong, and I really hope that they can give the English a good run for their money this weekend. They have the capability of doing it. They have the capability of going all the way and showing what they're made of. They just need to play as a team and cleverly and capitalise on opportunities. But they need to be alert, because England's got the favours this weekend. They have the crowd. They have the home advantage. Swing low through chariot. That sends goosebumps down your spine when the crowd sings and unites together as one. You've got that advantage on you, and you've got the advantage of the current history of the last time these two teams faced. Australia only putting on 7 points last year. They need to think of putting on more points, putting England under pressure, capitalising on tries, capitalising on any opportunity of points. Weather could be a factor in London. It could be raining, and we all saw what the weather condition did to South Africa. So Australia need to come prepared, as they are used to dry conditions. So there's so many factors that Michael needs to really take into place, as well as Hooper, so he can control it on the field in order to get a good victory. But for me, why you all are here is obviously the predictions. I think it's going to be a tough fought game. I think the first 40 minutes is going to be back and forth. I think we're going to see low point scoring, maybe 12-8 or 12-14, something like that, where we'll see, I think, a try or two scored within the first half. But it's going to be all down to who can capitalise, who stays the calmest. But what worries me is Australia's fitness levels. That has not come to show. Last week they beat Italy convincingly, but Italy still showed up and had a bit of heart within the Aussies. That's a factor. They lost to Wales, so they're going to be hurting. They're going to be wanting to prove a point to the critics. They're going to want to shut them up. So for me, if you have to talk about the two games, out of all of them, this is their hardest battle. So for me, I just don't see Australia, as much as I would like to see them pick up a victory as a Southern Hemisphere boy. I just don't see it happening. I just think England are going to come out in the second half with a different attitude. We all know what Eddie Jones is capable of, and his halftime talks are probably powerful. But we also must, on that note, remember what Michael Cheika's done. He shouted his lungs out to the Aussies to get them to play better, and they did improve a little bit. But to me, shouting and swearing and all that stuff isn't the way to go. You need to be calm and collected. So it all comes down to who can handle the pressure, who is the fittest on the field, and who can capitalise on any form of points. And for me, I'm looking towards the way of England winning that game by 7 points or more. I hope I'm wrong. I really want to see Australia end on a good note. I want to see them. It's been a shocking year for them. I want to see them pick up on a high, because that will bring a lot of confidence within the Australian squad if they can pick up a victory against England. It will be a massive victory for them, because yes, England are on the drop, but still they are a great team with a great coach, with great players who are capable of doing amazing things. So I think that's a very important note that we must remember going forward. But for me, England by 7 or more points. I'm hoping for a tough game. I think it's definitely the second game of the weekend, or between South Africa, Wales and England, Australia. It's the two big games of the weekend, as the other nations are playing a weaker nation as to what we saw last weekend. So as much as I would like the Aussies to win, I just think England are going to be the stronger pack. As usual, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who do you think is going to win this one? By how much? Who's the star players? For me, it's Owen Farrell for England, and I think definitely the Bernard Foley or Kirkley Beale, just because of the experience aspect, and definitely Kenya. So they've got key players there, but they need to play together. And obviously Israel Folau, another star. We can't forget about him. He needs to be able to play and pass and go to the streaks. So best of luck to both teams. I hope they give it their all. Stay tuned and subscribe so you can make sure you get the recap. We got South Africa, England, South Africa, Wales predictions coming up, as well as the November internationals, the rest of them. So make sure you subscribe for that, and I'll see you guys real soon for another video. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.